welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be answering some of your frequently asked questions about high school and middle school advice. I'm constantly always getting comments of you guys asking me to go over some tips and advice for high school or middle school. So today I'm going to try and answer some of them. Yesterday I posted something on my community page on YouTube and I asked for you guys to comment down below any questions you guys would like me to answer or anything you would like me to talk about. And we got some comments back, so I'm going to be answering those. I got about 50 comments back, so there is a pretty wide variety of questions. So let's get to it. My question is, how do you go about studying in high school and any study tips? I hear this one quite a bit. Personally, for me, studying is quite a hard thing to do, and it's hard to set aside everything else and just focus to study. Some studying tips that I think are helpful is that to go away from everyone and just find your own quiet place. Also, a phone like mine is a really big distraction to me, at least. So I try and get off my phone and maybe even listen to music or something. Sometimes music actually distracts me, but my number one study tip overall though would be just to go to a relaxing place, get off your phone, and just focus on trying to get it done. I know there's other apps that literally locks your phone so that you can't get on it, which I feel like I would like, but at the same time I would get really annoyed at that. Another studying tip is that maybe if you set a timer on your phone of a certain amount of time, and if you give yourself an hour and try and get everything done so that you can kind of just make it a test to see if you can get everything done in an hour. I know I've done that a couple times. Another question is, can you talk about how you prioritize all the things that you do in high school? So I'm gonna take this as how do I prioritize my sports and homework and still getting stuff done? So I prioritize everything that school work is always number one, and then sports and stuff like that. At least for our school, if you don't keep up with your grades and stuff, then you can't play your sport. So getting all of my stuff done and trying to do it as best as I can is definitely my number one rule for me, at least. And then I worry about sports and my friends and hanging out with that. That's definitely how I look at it, but I know everyone else looks at it different. How do you make friends in high school? I'm really shy, so advice would help. Also, how do you balance advanced classes with extracurricular activities? Coming into high school, I already had quite a few friends from middle school that I kind of stuck with. And also just trying to make new friends. I know that sounds dumb, but being welcoming and nice to other people is obviously a number one way to make new friends. I love all of my friends right now, and I'm going to be a sophomore, so I think it definitely takes time. How to balance advanced classes with extracurricular activities. So for all of my advanced classes, I try and get all that stuff done before I do all of my extracurricular activities. So I always just make sure my homework's done, and then I can go and do sport, which I kind of already said this. But yeah, that's my number one rule. What do you think about friend groups? Do you like to have big friend groups or smaller ones? I love friend groups, personally. I also like to branch out though and make new friends, so I think friend groups are great, but also having other friends outside of friend groups is also great. Do you have any advice for upcoming freshmen, on classes and notes? Take all of the classes you really need to take: biology, language art, a social studies class, which I did not take last year for freshman year, so I have to take that sophomore year because I took an extra class instead, which I kind of regret doing, and I wish I would have just taken all of my necessary classes. I think my advice would really just to be, make sure that you're taking the classes that you will be happy with and that you actually want to take. And also just trying to actually plan it out and figure out what you're going to take maybe freshman and then look at sophomore year for the next year. Is freshman year awkward? Is it hard to fit in and get used to it? Freshman year for me was not awkward at all, and I loved it. But I definitely liked it more than middle school. The first month of freshman year, I actually did not like it at all, and I just wanted to go back to middle school. Now I definitely like high school a lot better, so I think over time, it gets a lot better. I think it just takes time. And is it hard to fit in and get used to it? I think yes, honestly. I don't know if it's necessarily hard to fit in, but it's definitely a lot to get used to. Middle school and high school are alike, but at the same time so different, and there's definitely a lot of older people than you freshman year, so it's a little overwhelming. But you get used to it, and I started loving it. And how do you stay motivated and productive while juggling sports and school at the same time? I know a lot of high schoolers have like jobs and stuff, so doing jobs and sports and schoolwork is a lot of stuff to do. It's really hard, honestly. I did YouTube and sports and school last year, and that was really overwhelming, but I would never change it. I'm a big fan of planning out stuff, so I'd be at school planning out what I'm gonna do after school and then figure out what time I can go to bed that night and if I'm gonna get everything done. So let's say like I would figure out first I'm going to edit and then I'm gonna do my schoolwork and then maybe like I have sports or something. Just kind of like that, and planning out my night and trying to get everything done. I just say maybe looking forward a little bit and trying to plan out your events for the day or even the week. Incoming freshman advice. How do you organize and make your locker aesthetic? Since COVID, we have been just carrying our backpacks around, so we have lockers, but most people don't really go to them very much because we have our backpacks. So we have everything that we would have in our locker already in our backpack, which makes it so we didn't really have to go anyways. I did sometimes keep my lunchbox if I didn't want to carry it, or like extra pencils if I didn't want to carry that. So I never really actually organized or made my locker cute by any means, but in middle school I sure did, and it had like a rug in there and like a lamp and a shelf, which was so fun. Some advice for that is go to Target. They have the cutest locker stuff, and it's all in a section, and you can just buy all the matching stuff, and it's so cute. So if you were wanting some locker stuff, I would go to Target. What was one of your favorite classes? Did you know anyone from middle school going into high school? One of my favorite classes that I took this year was radio and TV. At our school, that was available for us to take, and it was kind of like just a videoing and like editing class, so it was kind of just straight up what I would like to do. And it was really fun for me because I had friends in my class that I took it with, so we would just film videos and then edit them, like music videos and stuff like that, so it was really fun for me. That was definitely my favorite class last year. And I did know people from middle school going into high school. I had a pretty good friend group going into high school, so I think that definitely helped. What is one thing that you want to keep in mind while going into school for this year? One thing I do want to keep in mind for sure is being productive and organized. I hate not being on a schedule, so I feel like being on a schedule makes me so much more organized and feel a lot better. A big thing for me is planning out my whole week on like a Sunday or something, so that I know every single day and it's all in my calendar. I'm not stressed out about what I'm gonna do that day and how I'm gonna figure it all out because I already have it planned. Any drama advice? I hate drama personally, and I just do not like drama or to get into it. If I even get involved a little bit, I just try to step back and not even really have much to say about it because I don't like it. This year I did not get into like any drama, so that was really nice, but I do know it's different for everyone. I'm going into 8th grade, but I have never been to a year of middle school because of COVID. Any advice? 8th grade year was honestly my favorite year of middle school, and some advice is just not to be overwhelmed or scared. Everyone else at your school is going to be in the same position as you, so just don't worry about it too much. How to ace every test in high school and apps that help a lot. A number one thing for me is to study. Studying for every test obviously makes a big difference, so make sure to study. And some apps, honestly, I don't think I have any apps that help me study. For some things I use note cards and like flip the answer over on the back, or like Quizlet if you've ever heard of that, that's a nice thing. Does popularity matter? And is there really as much drama in high school as everyone says? I believe that popularity does not matter at all, and I feel like in the movies, like high school movies, it really like talks it up and makes it look really bad. At least at my high school so far, I have not thought popularity has been a big thing at all. That is all the questions I'm going to be answering for today. Hopefully I answered some of your guys' questions and anything that you guys have been asking about recently. I'm going to be a sophomore next year, and I'm so excited to go back. So getting back into a routine is going to feel so good. If you guys have any more advice, please comment it down below so I can maybe try and answer it. If you watched all the way through this video, comment a school bus because we're going back to school soon. Hopefully some of this advice helped. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Bye!
Same page, once a night I wanna stay. Why don't you just talk to me? 'Cause when you spend your time with me, you're speaking